Hey there to our 909 subscribers, our future subscribers, and all the people that secretly watch us without subscribing. Thank you again for your patience while I have been healing. I did fall down a rabbit hole while putting this video together, which also slowed me down, so I am very sorry about that. But I would like to stay focused on the predictions from psychics, prophecies, and dreams. That being said, there are so many different ways that people make predictions. In the previous video, I focused on predictions based on facts, but today I want to talk to you about prophets, psychics, and dreams. I want you to think about whether knowing the future is good or bad. We all have moments where we wished we would have known something ahead of time so we could prevent it. But would knowing the future prevent us from becoming who we are meant to become? Because we won't experience the things that shape who we are. So I want to start with the prophet Nostradamus because, everybody knows who he is. His claim was that he used self-hypnosis, used that information along with his knowledge of astrology, and wrote 4-line poems called quatrains. He supposedly put them all in a hat and mixed them up so they wouldn't be in the order he saw them in. One of the things I found most interesting in one of my rabbit holes is that Nostradamus intentionally made his writings difficult to understand. According to some accounts, he believed that knowing the future was dangerous. Rather than writing clear warnings, he obscured the meaning through symbolism, unusual wording, misspellings, riddles, word swaps, as well as the mixing of the order of events. To me, that doesn't make his writings any less of a prediction. It simply means they were not intended to prevent events from happening. Instead, they appear to be a record of what he believed he saw, leaving future generations to decide whether those predictions matched real events. And to be honest, I kind of think he got a kick out of the idea of people trying to figure it all out and not being able to, but that is just my opinion. Don't sue me. Another prophet that had a similar way of seeing the future was Edgar Cayce. He used self-hypnosis, had some questioning him while he was under, had someone questioning while he was under, and they would write down everything he said. He did a lot of readings for people with medical issues, telling them how to be cured, despite the fact he didn't understand the messages that he was passing on. He is well known for popularizing the concept of karma, past life regression, and the Akashic records, which is a theoretical cosmic library of all human events and thoughts. But this video is specifically about predictions, which he was also famous for. Unlike Nostradamus, Edgar Cayce was not known for writing cryptic poems. He was a photographer and Sunday school teacher who became famous for entering a trance-like state and answering questions while asleep. Many people referred to him as the sleeping prophet. During these readings, he made predictions about health, history, reincarnation, and future events. Cayce believed that souls lived multiple lives, and he even predicted that he himself would return in the future and remember who he had been. One of the challenges with Edgar Cayce's predictions is interpretation. For example, one statement often discussed is that Nebraska would someday become America's West Coast. Many people interpret this to mean that massive earth changes would place much of the current coastline underwater. However, I found myself wondering whether there could be other explanations. Could the predictions refer to political changes, cultural changes, or even a divided nation rather than a literal geographic change? Like many predictions, the meaning may depend on how the prediction is interpreted. The next person I want to tell you about is Jeane Dixon. She was likely the first modern celebrity psychic. Various people refer to her as a clairvoyant, seer, astrologer, and prophet. Her methods are much different than the first two, however. Her main tool is a crystal ball, that was gifted to her by a gypsy fortune teller when she was a child. She claimed to have visions that showed her the future, but was also knowledgeable about how to use astrology to determine more tangible predictions. She was known as the seer to those that were in Washington, D.C. She somewhat predicted the assassination of John F. Kennedy, but she made a lot of incorrect predictions that people ignored to some degree, like Nixon winning the 1960 election, and that the apocalypse would happen in 2020. Although I guess 2020 seemed like an apocalypse to some degree, one of the predictions that most damaged her reputation was when she made the statement, "Russia will be the first nation to put a man on the moon." I do understand the United States was stated to be the first ones to have a citizen step on the moon, but is that really what she meant? Because from my perspective, putting a man on the moon could mean putting him there to stay. Just a thought to consider. But also, I do believe she was guessing based on what was going on at the time. Now, I want to give you something to think about and consider. If you had a dream or vision in 1898 and decided to write a book about it, then in 1912, almost the identical thing happened, would you come forward and say you predicted it, or would you rather stay in the shadows? Now, I'm not saying for sure that Morgan Robertson had a dream or vision. The whole thing could be a really strange coincidence, although it would be a massive coincidence because he wrote a story about a ship called Titan wrecking. Then 14 years later, the Titanic sank nearly too similar to be a simple coincidence. But then he claimed he wrote the story based on maritime knowledge. So the question should be, did he know that what he imagined was a real future event? Was he worried that people would be mad about him not preventing the wreck? Was he trying to not get publicity? This is one that we will never know for sure if it was truly psychic or a massive coincidence. The type of prediction that has always intrigued me is dreams that come true. I believe that's possibly the cause of a lot of deja vu, if not all of it. One of the most famous dream stories in American history involves President Abraham Lincoln. According to accounts reported after his death, Lincoln described a dream in which he walked through the White House and discovered people mourning. When he asked who had died, he was told that the president had been assassinated. Possibly 10 days later, Lincoln was shot by John Wilkes Booth and died from his injuries. The story raises an interesting question. Did Lincoln truly dream about his own death, or was the story influenced by events that happened afterwards? Unlike many psychic predictions, the account was based on a dream rather than a trance, vision, or prophecy. Whether it was a genuine premonition or simply a remarkable coincidence, it remains one of the most well-known examples of a dream that appeared to predict the future. Which brings me to one of the dreams I had that's haunted me my entire life. I was only 3 years old when I kept having a dream of someone close to me getting shot. The dream was consuming my thoughts even at 3 years old, but I didn't tell anybody because they were just dreams. The dream stopped when the person shot himself. I blamed myself for 15 years, wondering if I could have stopped it. Now, I know I couldn't have, but I have had a lot of times in my life where something happens, then I pause because I remember the exact scenario happening in a dream. With my dreams, though, if I see a face, they don't happen. If I don't see any faces in the dream, then it happens. And then we have one of the most modern examples of alleged predictions coming from The Simpsons. Over the years, people have pointed to episodes that appear to predict future events, technologies, and even political outcomes. Some examples are surprisingly close to what later happened, while others are exaggerated or taken out of context. However, The Simpsons presents a different question than psychics, prophets, or dreams. Are these genuine predictions, or are they simply the result of writers imagining hundreds of possible scenarios over many decades? Another possibility is that Some ideas become reality because people were inspired by what they saw on television. In that case, was the show predicting the future or helping to create it? Some of these examples may have perfectly logical explanations. Some may be coincidences. Some may have been exaggerated over time. And some are strange enough that I don't think we can completely dismiss them. What fascinates me isn't whether every prediction was accurate. It's the possibility that time may not be as simple as we think it is. Whether those predictions came from dreams, visions, intuition, coincidences, or something we don't yet understand, they all leave us with the same question. If you could know the future, would you really want to? And if you did know it, would you try to change it, or would changing it create a completely different future than the one you were meant to experience? Hopefully, I've given you something to think about. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share, and get your friends to do the same thing. Thanks. Bye.